Hey guys, what's going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In this video, I'm going to take a crack at grading the New York Jets 2024 NFL draft class. The dust has settled, which I always kind of like to do. I like to give it a little bit of time rather than just be like, okay, the second the draft ends, I got to give my grade right now. So what we did yesterday, we talked about the UDFAs, and today, this morning, we are going to get into how I grade the New York Jets 2024 NFL draft. Now, undrafted free agents is not going to be included in this. We are talking just draft class as a whole here for the New York Jets. So we'll start off with some things that I like, some things that maybe I have some questions about in this draft class. I'll give my grade, and then I'll give some comparison grades that I found throughout all this, and we'll just talk through. And then in the comments, I want you guys to give your grade on how you feel about the 2024 NFL draft. And I fully admit, like, this is all kind of the draft grade is a little silly because it's always like, well, you got to see how it plays out 3 years down the line. But the reason why I like doing the draft grades is because it kind of tells you, when you look back on it, like how you felt at the time. And then you could look and say, wow, I was either too high on this class, too low on this class, or right on the money in this class. So looking back, I was too high on the 2020 and 2021 class. Loved the 2022 class, and that one came out obviously well. 2023 is TBD, as I was, I think, more like middle of the road on it, and this one we will get into our grade. All right, things that I like: Olu Fashanu, the offensive lineman from Penn State. So the Jets drop one spot in the NFL draft and are able to grab a pure left tackle who is very good at pass protection. Does he still need some work as a run blocker? Yes, absolutely. Now, some people are going to be a little bit upset because they wanted a weapon, and Brock Bowers was on the board. They missed out on Rome Odunze. It feels like the leaks were that they were trying to get up for Rome Odunze, but Atlanta ends up sticking and picking at 8. Very bizarre. They take Michael Penix. And then at 9, obviously, we see Rome Odunze go off the board to the Chicago Bears. The Jets move down a spot. They allow the Minnesota Vikings come up to J.J. McCarthy at 10. And then at 11, they go Fashanu. Malachi Corley is also a pick that I thoroughly enjoyed. He's a very unique player and stylistically a little bit different than what they already have on the roster. And, you know, Mike Williams, they bring in free agency. He's more of that outside receiver, and Corley's going to be a slot player. He's someone you want to get the ball in his hands and let him do his work yards after the catch. He runs with the nastiness to him. There's the Deebo Samuel comparisons, and obviously that's ceiling. Other comparisons are more like Cordero Patterson. We've seen people say like a souped-up version of Randall Cobb, Quincy Enunwa for your Jets comparison. Moral of the story, I think he's going to be involved right away as a number 3 receiver behind Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson. He's going to be someone who Aaron Rodgers just likes to check it down to and likes to get the ball out to him. I think he's going to be really exciting with the ball in his hands. Braylon Allen's a pick that I really like a lot. I think he's going to complement Breece Hall well and be this team's RB2. He is a big bruising back. He is an excellent pass protector, which I know that's not something that gets talked about a whole lot with running backs, but it matters. Last year, the Jets running backs were absolutely abysmal in pass protection. Breece Hall gets a pass because everything else he does and how fantastic he is out of the backfield as a pass catcher and how he's a home run threat. But Dalvin Cook was really bad at it. Michael Carter was not very good at it. And Izzy Abanikanda could not get on the field for the first, 13 weeks of the season because of it. So it's important. And Braylon Allen, that's a plus from his game. The last thing in the things that I like is the Jordan Travis pick, because I wanted them to take a dart throw on either Jordan Travis or Michael Pratt. Pratt fell really far, I believe to the 7th round to Green Bay Packers. But for Jordan Travis, I think absolute worst case scenario, he's someone who'd be a cheap backup for a few years. Best case scenario, he sits behind Tyrod Taylor and Aaron Rodgers and could eventually be a starter. He has a lot of talent. if he didn't get injured, he would have went significantly higher than the 5th round this past year. Probably 2nd round, somewhere in that range would be my guess for Jordan Travis, but a really fun player that doesn't have a lot of pressure on him right away to play. Is going to be fun in the preseason to watch and just makes this quarterback room a whole lot more fun with Aaron Rodgers, Tyrod Taylor, Jordan Travis. That's 3 guys I feel a lot more comfortable with than the room after Aaron Rodgers last year, which just frankly was not very good. Okay, so for some things that I don't like, or I think I'm going to be a little bit critical of, all the round 4 trade backs. I liked the one where you traded with the Detroit Lions and got a 2025 3rd round pick. That was my favorite of the trade backs. Some of the other ones just didn't feel like completely necessary and felt like a little bit much. Now they ended up with, still in the draft, Jordan Travis who in the 5th round and Braylon Allen in the 4th. If it ended up like they just stuck and pick and took those guys, probably fine with that. But it was just, I didn't think it was completely unnecessary thing to continue to move down and have 3 5th round picks in this draft. And then and that's just a minor critique. That's not going to tank this entire draft class grade. And another minor critique is doubling up on running back. They take Isaiah Davis in the 5th round as well. And this isn't as much my thing about Isaiah Davis, who is worthy of a 5th round selection. He's just a very similar player and probably not as good version of Braylon Allen. He's a little bit slower. But he's a big bruising back, but to his credit, good pass protector. So they have 2 guys who could be a pass protector. Maybe Isaiah Davis, like practice squad, maybe he converts to fullback. Maybe they carry 4 running backs, but I thought it was a little bit of a strange selection to go back to the running back well in the 5th round. That was a surprise to me. So with that all said and done, I am going to give this draft class a grade of a B+. I think it's a solid draft class. It's not I don't think we're going to look back, 4 years from now, or even hell, it was pretty quick for the 2022 draft. You knew instantly. But I don't think we're going to look back a few years from now and be like, man, this was an absolutely stellar draft class, amazing draft class of the Jets. But I don't think it's that head scratcher of the 2023 draft class. I think it's just solid. It's going to get the job done. Fashanu is going to be a really solid left tackle for this team for a bunch of years. Malachi Corley is going to be a fun player. Maybe best case scenario, he ends up being a wide receiver too, but I'll say like a gadgety kind of fun player. Braylon Allen is going to be an RB2 for a few years for the Jets would be my prediction. And then Jordan Travis, you never know, but my assumption is he's going to be probably a cheap backup for a few years and have some fun moments in the preseason. So I'm going to go with a B+. Obviously, Travis, in a few years from now, if he ends up being a starter, this is going to turn into an A. If Braylon Allen takes another step in his development, this is going to move it up. And anything really beyond that on day 3, they're dart throws, but I don't have crazy high expectations for the rest of the class. I'll give you some other grades. B+ kind of seems like the consensus. Connor Rogers of Badlands and the NFL Stock Exchange podcast gave the Jets a B. Trevor Sikkema, his co-host on NFL Stock Exchange, really, if you're interested in the NFL draft and draft prospects, I would recommend watching that show. B+ for Trevor Sikkema. Chad Reuter of NFL.com, B+. Bleacher Report scouting department gave it a B+. The lowest grade that I found was from The Ringer, and they gave the Jets a C, citing value of the picks outside of the 1st round. They didn't love the Malachi Corley selection for the Jets. And they didn't like doubling up on running back for the New York Jets. So they were a little bit lower on the draft class. But C was about the lowest that I could find. I think most people are settling on B+. I like that they went offensive line in the 1st round, and I like Malachi Corley and Braylon Allen. So for me, I'm going to give it a B+. But sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you're new. I'm Matt. I'll catch you guys next time.